In the previous demonstration, we saw how easy it is to deploy a fresh new Oracle RAC database environment. But what if we wanted to check to see, how our workload might respond when adding a third node to the cluster, right? So in other words, test the scalability of that particular workload when adding a third node. So it's really easy. We just click on Scale Out for the application, and we're presented with the opportunity to define the number of nodes by which we want to extend this cluster. It's just simply by sliding across this bar. But we, for demonstration purposes, only need to add a single node. We can also explicitly call out a host name for the new node. We can go back and tweak some of the environment variables as input for this new operation. But for this purpose, we really don't need to make any of these changes, so let's just close these out and just simply click on the Scale Out button to begin the process for extending our RAC cluster. So behind the scenes, Oracle, we're making calls, all the necessary calls to Oracle to, effect the extension of the cluster in very much the same way as you might through conventional means, in any other with any other installation. Ensuring that from an Oracle perspective, things are all, copacetic with the configuration. And so upon success of the operation, then let's, here we'll close this, and we are back to our application screen with the newly refreshed view to find that our third node has been added. We can see the new IP addresses, the physical host on which the new container has been deployed. And let's just jump back into that container now, the new container rather, to do a similar verification to see that we actually have a successfully reshaped RAC database environment with 3 nodes from 2 nodes. So we log into Oracle, set our environment through SRVCTL. Let's just do a status again of our Robin database. So we can see that we've got our Robin 3 instance now, which has been added, and it's now running on our new vNode or new container in the Robin cluster. We can see the new VIP is added and up and running. The resources are, have been successfully configured across the new node. And if we go back into SQL Plus and log back into the database itself and do once again a query of $, instance, we can see that we have the database is up and fully available across all 3 instances of the cluster. Okay. So we exit out of that, we're back to the UI, and so now what if we want to scale back in, right? So we need to shrink that cluster. Testing is completed. We need to shrink that cluster back to 2 nodes, okay? And that's just as easy as it was to scale things out. And we can choose any of these instances we want to remove from the cluster, right? So in this case, just for demonstration purposes, we're going to choose one of the original nodes to actually remove. And it's really just simply a matter of deleting that container, okay? And then behind the scenes, we'll make all the necessary calls to Oracle, to do essentially a normal deprovisioning instance deprovisioning operation. That's all done, within the context of all the various requirements that Oracle has for doing that. And upon success of that, we can see that we now have 2 nodes, and in the application view. And to verify, let's go back into the console of one of these containers, log back in as Oracle, because we need to set our environment. And we'll go back in through SRVCTL to query the status of that Robin database. And if you look closely, you'll notice that we actually have Robin 1 and Robin 3 now, and our original node with the newly added node that we did in the previous installation, and our second node has been removed, and the associated resources have also been removed from CRS. We go back into SQL Plus again, log into the database, and finally do one last query from $, instance to see from a database point of view what instances are left, and verify that our shared Robin database is up and fully available to both instances. Okay, so let's exit out of this. We'll exit out of the shell, back to the screen. And so as you can see, it's as easy as it was to scale out. We can just simply, through a matter of a click or two, we scale back in.